Just got back from the hobby shop and I was happy to know in stock they had some Pro-Line dual stage tire foams. Now we're going to give these a shot because I've seen some tire wobble on this and I've seen some flat spots. So these are the stock foams. I'm sticking with the stock tires for now. I got some new tires on the way. But we're going to try these dual stage foams, see if we can get some more bite out of the SCX6. So we got our original foam out. We're gonna open up the new ones and put them side by side so you can see what they look like in comparison. You can tell the old ones are pretty soft, and they're also kind of like warped right out of the box. I mean right out of the tire. You can see, where's the old one? See, it's got some. It's kind of got a weird shape. And then the new one looks like it's a little bit bigger. It hasn't been used yet, but maybe a little bit more round. You can see just around the edges there about how much more we've got to push out on the tire. So hoping for the best in terms of performance. So let's see if we can get these in. I'm going to push it on the outside so we're kind of all even. And the fit in there is, it's hard to see, but it's pretty tight, pretty good. You can see that there's this little bubble here, which I've been trying to work out a little bit. So the inner core is way more stiff, so you got to really put some pressure on it to get it to bend. Definitely harder to put this one in than the soft white foam. There we go. Get it around. Get the whole thing in there. Seated. Just push her out. Oh yeah. Sitting kind of funny. Definitely gonna need to play with it a little bit to get it all. It looks pretty good. I'm gonna play with it a little bit and finagle it because you can see that it's not exactly lined up, and I'm not quite sure how much more I'll get it lined up. I mean, maybe when we put the wheel back together, it'll kind of force it to be more round. So while we're in here, I'm just gonna clean the inside here. We've had plenty of good runs. It's just gotten a little dirty, so just clean in here, make sure that there's nothing, between the axle, make sure that we're not losing any grease or anything like that before we put the tire back on. And we'll even clean the rim up. It's a little dirty. Just give it a quick wipe and put it all back together so it's good as new. where you can really feel the difference in these is the sidewall. The sidewall has really good pressure on the wheel with the new foam. It's got good feedback. You can feel it. Where the rear one is really just super soft. You can squeeze it so easily. And if you're in a tight space and you're trying to use the sidewall to press against rocks, you're going to want that extra pressure to hold you up. But it is also nice to have, you sort of get a sense of some grippiness. If you think about like a dragster tire or something like that, that ripples and holds on. So we'll definitely have to observe the differences, but it does feel quite stout in comparison to the old ones. I do think these are going to be pretty nice. They're really stiff on the sidewall. While I'm still using the same tires, I still think I will see some performance improvement overall. But I'll get the rest done and we can take it out on the trail and see how it compares. So here's one of the first obstacles we have. And it's not very complex, but we can see that the tire is biting pretty good. And it's actually not folding in much at all in comparison to the soft ones. On this video we can see that we're getting pretty good bite. You can see the tire bending in there and it's grabbing. And it's able to climb this one without much struggle. I don't have many canyons around me. It's mostly small rock obstacles. So this is more of an overview. Obviously, if you have different types of obstacles like canyons and different types of crawling environments, the tires are going to do different things and the foams are going to do different things. I was definitely fighting for traction today because we had some rain recently and a lot of the sandstone just kind of turns into grains as you're trying to crawl it. So that definitely was a little bit difficult to try to test the tire foams out when your tires themselves were just fighting for traction. As you can see here, I'm spinning. I'm not quite sure if I'm stuck on the diff or the axle, but it's just not grabbing very much. I have a couple of clips here to show the tires and their resistance to folding. The inner foam is a lot harder than the normal foam, so when you're looking at some of these videos, you would expect the tires to be kind of folding in on themselves a little bit. And I'm trying to show that these foams kind of resist it, and they end up being pretty grabby where other softer foams might actually fold in. The foams in this shot are really showing their stiffness. Softer foams might actually fold over because this is actually at a pretty good angle. Even climbing these little rocks, I would expect to see maybe a little bit of rolling, but they're pretty stiff. This small ledge proves to be really easy for the tires and the foams. Even fighting just a little bit of dust, it climbs right over it. All in all, these foams do change the characteristics of the truck. You know, it really depends on what you're trying to get out of it. I mean, I think softer foams might be a little bit more grabby in situations where these might, the stiffer ones might bounce, may not be able to climb or grab some of the sharper obstacles, but they did all right. It'd be interesting to see going back to the original foams to see in comparison on how it does. But yeah, I'll keep these on for a while. I have some newer tires on order, and we're going to try those out when they come in too. I wouldn't say that these foams are, critical to having. I think it's really dependent on what you feel like or what your conditions are. So I think the stock ones, they did pretty good when I ran them. So I can't complain either way. I hope you enjoyed some of the basic coverage of how these ProLine dual stage foams did for me. This isn't an in-depth review, but it's just showing off some of the hills and rocks that I've climbed with these new foams and how they did for me.